Welcome. If this is your first time camping at Daytona International Speedway, stick around. I'm going to give you my top tips for a stress-free week. Now, I was gifted my camping spot and my tickets, so I don't have any experience purchasing it, but I did come across some Facebook groups for NASCAR camping, and so I was able to get a lot of my questions answered that way, but I had to do a lot of research, and so I thought I'd make this video just to explain what I've learned throughout the week, and maybe you can use it. First off, camping opens up about a week prior to the race, with Geico West, which is on the outside, opening up a few days before the infield. And there was some confusion right away when I first started looking it up on when the exact date was, and so it's best just to call the racetrack. You know, when it gets closer to the race, they'll be able to tell you which campgrounds open up and what day. Tip number 2, unless you have a premium site, which there are not very many, you're going to be boondocking. So make sure you bring your own power. So bring an inverter generator, or make sure you've got a good solar lithium setup. Number 3, everybody uses gate 40. So you're going to use gate 40 to get to Geico West, or you're going to be using gate 40 to get to the infield camping as well. So we all use the same one. And once you pull through the gate, if you turn to the right, that's the majority of Geico West. And if you turn to the left, that will take you to the tunnel. So it tees right when you enter it. Tip number 4, propane is available in each campground in West and on the infield. Suburban propane showed up, I think, on Tuesday. So quite a few days before the race starts. I talked to the guy for a minute. Propane was $4.79 a gallon, which is a little over a pound. A little over $1 a pound. So it really wasn't. They weren't price gouging, so it really wasn't that much more than you can just get it filled from anywhere else, but it was nice having it on site. Number 5, there are several water stations throughout the campground. In Geico West, there were 2 major ones that I saw. They've got huge blue signs on it that say water. Each section has about 5 to 6 spigots on it, and so you can fill more than one camper at a time there. The other thing that I noticed that people did, if they were relatively close, they would just daisy chain a bunch of hoses together and they would run around and, try to fill their campers that way as well. But unless you're reasonably close, that's not really an option. So just make sure you get water as you're coming in or fill prior to showing up. Tip number 6, there's ice is plentiful. There is an ice golf cart that runs around. I saw the people on the carts from the day I showed up until the day I left. And so they only sold 22-pound bags, and they were about $10 a bag. So, but they were always available, and so that was nice. The pump out trucks are plentiful. What they do is prior to the race, they'll run around and they'll deliver porta johns if you've ordered one. So they give you the option prior to coming to the race that if you've got, if you know that you've got more people at your campsite, and you're going to be using the bathroom a lot, they'll drop a porta john for $90 for the entire week, and that'll save you from all the pump out that you need. I didn't need to do that. I was here for almost 9 or 10 days, and I only had to pump out once. So, and it's $50. So, but they're plentiful and they're running around constantly, and it was $50 cash. You can either just flag one of them down. They're all assigned to a certain area, so you can flag your guy down, or you can call dispatch as well. I did both. Number 8, the campground was a lot calmer than I thought it would be. Now, maybe that was just because of where I was located, which was by the runway, pretty much the farthest area you could get away from the speedway. But my area was pretty calm, and I was a little shocked by that. Now, you can find the rowdy section. You can find where the bars are set up and where people are going to be hanging out and the big groups are, and you can tell. But I was really surprised at how kind of calm and quiet my area was, and I don't have any complaints on that at all. Tip number 9, one of the other things I really liked is when you first pull into gate 40 is, they give you your tow pass, and in order to keep the line moving, they don't want you sitting there asking a bunch of questions. And so they post a guy right in toward the entrance as you pull in. And so I didn't really know where I was going. And so when I pulled in, the very nice guy at the gate was just like, yep, go turn the corner, pull around, jump out, and then go talk to that guy right there. And so.
How you doing, Dave?
Good, how are you?
Where we going?
Geico West.
Gotta go west.
848.
So, okay, how many lots you got?
Just one.
Got one. Hey, go, you're towing legal, you know exactly where you're going, right?
Nope, I've never been here.
All right, I want you to turn right here.
Okay.
And pull in that driveway right there. And
This one right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And talk to that guy right there.
You talk to that guy?
Yeah. So
okay,
when you
on the
turn,
bike.
just let him know that you need to talk to him and find out where your lot is. He'll tell you exactly where it's at.
Okay.
He got a map of everything.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
That guy was really nice too. We chatted for a second. He showed me exactly where to go. He had a map, a laminated map on him, and he was like, "Yep, just go here, here, and here. And if you get lost, come back, and I'll let you know. I'll talk you through it again." So there was plenty of help, and I didn't feel out of place or lost. Tip number 10: you're going to walk a lot, so make sure you understand the tram system. If you've got infield tickets, the easiest way to get in and out of the infield is on the southwest corner, kind of by the tunnel itself. There is the yellow tram system, and so you walk up there. That goes to, I think it went to the tram, it went to the infield, and it went to lot 6. The yellow one did, and so they don't allow e-bikes or motorcycles inside the infield. And so what I would do is I would hop on my e-bike, which are allowed on the outside. I would take my e-bike and ride all the way to the tram area, and then I would lock my bike up there. And then I would jump on the tram, and then I would take that to the infield. There's still a ton of walking from there, but I didn't have to walk that mile or two to get into the infield. And so anyway, get to know the tram schedule, and then they also have a schedule that's posted as well. And so I'll throw that up here as well. And the e-bike thing kind of covered my tip number 11. So we're going to move on to tip number 12, which was going early allows you to watch a lot of the cool things that happen prior to the race. One being the hauler parade, which on Tuesday, what they do is in the early evening, they'll line up across from the speedway near Bass Pro. They will line up all of the trucks that are holding the race cars, and they'll line them all up, and they'll do a parade heading into the infield and stuff like that. And so they let everybody walk around for a couple hours, and they set up merch trucks, and it's by all the restaurants across from the speedway. And so it just gives fans an opportunity to kind of be up and close to the hauler trucks and take pictures and kind of mingle. And so that was pretty neat. And then once the sun goes down, the semis turn all their lights on, and they've got ground effects, and then they do a huge parade and honk pull their horns, and they make a big spectacle about it, and they go on into the infield and through the tunnel. And so the other thing that you can do is in the midway, they set up so much equipment, and so many vendors are out in the midway that as the week goes on, you get to kind of see them all set up and watch that whole thing kind of unfold. The other thing that's neat is, since I was in Geico West down toward the runway, I got to see all the planes land. And so all the drivers come in on their own, private jets, and, Deltas going in and out constantly. And then the Thunderbirds show up. And so they show up and do a little spectacle. And then, once they're all there, they will practice one day. And so you get a little bit of a larger air show than just the one that happens on the Daytona 500 Sunday. So there's a little bit of extra there. And then the other thing is NASCAR will open up the merch trucks and merch tents prior to Sunday. And so if you're one of those people that like to get the t-shirts and the merch, Sunday, what I noticed, can be just a tornado of people that go through there, and it's kind of overwhelming. And so if you're there a few days early, you can kind of take your time with it and have a better variety of things to choose from. Tip number 13, Camper Fest is Wednesday. So if you're camping and you're there prior to Wednesday of Speed Week, what NASCAR will do is they'll give you a wristband on that Wednesday. If you're a camper, what that does is allow you to the infield. And so in the infield, they will do, during the Camper Fest, they'll do a free beer, and they did free hot dogs for the first hour. Then they did a concert. It also allows you into the fan zone, and it allows you onto the garage roof. And so you can see, all the cup cars, they'll warm them up, and then they'll individually push them out to the track, and, they'll do their qualifying. And so you get to watch that from the infield as a camper. Tip number 14, once you go inside the speedway, if you've got a seat, you can bring all of your own drinks. You can bring your own food. You can bring personal items. I've got a list here. I took a picture of what's allowed and what's not allowed as of 2025. If you're watching this in the future, that may have changed. But anyway, I'll zoom in and kind of show you what you can bring in and what's not allowed. Tip number 15, it's going to rain. So plan accordingly. Tip number 16, I would say get there by Tuesday or Wednesday if you want the best overall experience for the camping and all of the things that go on throughout the week. It kind of kicked off on Wednesday. So if you want a day to set up and get posted, come Tuesday. If you've got the weekend prior to that and you don't have much going on Sunday or Monday, get there and show up. I showed up on Saturday, and that gave me plenty of time to check out some of the local restaurants, and then I checked out the flea market. But I would say Tuesday or Wednesday, Wednesday at the latest if you're camping. That'd be a good time to show up. Tip number 17: do the NASCAR experience if you're there early. I think probably Daytona is probably one of the better ones, and they give you two options. For $150, you can take 3 laps. You have a driver. They drive you around the track for 3 laps. You basically have 1 lap to get up to speed, and then you're at full speed all the way around for lap 2, and then lap 3. As you come around out of turn 3, you start going back into the pits, so you're slowing down. But that was plenty. You can do 6 as well, but you can do 6, but I thought 3 was plenty. It was fun. It was exciting. It was everything I wanted it to be. It wasn't hard to figure out how to get into the infield. They had signs everywhere. They told you where to park. They told you where to walk. They told you where to check in. You got a lanyard. You got a number on your lanyard. And then once you got into the pit area, they called the numbers 10 at a time, in groups of 10. And then you came up, you got in line, they put a helmet on you, and then they actually just basically prepared you to get into the car. Then as the cars were cycling through, they just, they moved drivers or riders in and out. And so there was a separate group that were actually drivers. I wasn't part of that, so I didn't really get a full view of what was going on over there. But even after I got out of the car and was done, I was able to stick around for a little bit longer, and I got some more footage. And it was just a nice place to kind of hang out. And you're close to the cars, you're still close to the drivers, and that was probably a once in a lifetime opportunity for me that I'll never forget, and it was worth every penny. So I would highly recommend doing that. Tip number 18, traffic got a lot worse. I noticed like Thursday evening, I was coming back into the campground, and it was like, whoa, traffic is a mess and the intersections are a mess. And so at Thursday night, I was like, all right, I'm pulling in, and I'm not going anywhere from till we leave. And so that was just a decision I made. I stuck around to the campground after Thursday and really just didn't want to deal with the traffic that was kind of going on outside. And on Sunday, it's a lot worse. And so if you're going to the race, and show up early on Sunday, like 6 to 8 a.m. is a great time to show up. You can get a parking spot and you can get into the stadium. I know we walked in about 9 a.m. on Sunday, and we didn't have any wait at the gate at all at the metal detectors, but I did hear later on that escalated very quickly, and people were waiting hours to get into the stadium. And so a lot of people were upset with that. But everything I read prior to walking in there said, hey, just go early, get in there early. There's plenty to do. There's plenty to see. If you've got infield passes, once you walk in, you can go down and you cross the track. You can spend some time on the track. You can sign the finish line, and you can go see all the cars, and then you can go to the fan zone, and there's just all kinds of stuff that you can do. I was not bored at all while I was there, even though we were there hours before the race even started. So there's always something going on. There's a concert. So there's a lot going on and plenty to take in. And finally, on the way out, packing up, I left Monday morning after the race, and I had things pretty well packed up the night before. So Monday. So on Monday, I didn't really have a whole lot to do other than hook the truck up and, put some stuff away on the inside of my camper. But I would say be out of the campground prior to 9 a.m. Now, everybody has to use gate 40 as well to leave, including the infield and Geico West. And so I probably hit the exit about 8 a.m. and I didn't have any trouble leaving. But I did hear stories of people from Facebook that were very upset that they couldn't get out of the infield because everybody's using the same 1-lane road to get out. and there's thousands of people trying to get out with their camper. And if you're not out early, you're going to be stuck in that line, especially if you're in the infield, because you've all got to go through the tunnel. If you want to get out early, get out early, get up early, and then, or just hang out and wait. So those are my top tips for camping at Daytona from the outside. Maybe one day I'll make my way into the infield, and maybe I'll have some tips for you there. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, maybe I can answer them. Fire them off in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.